What's up everybody, Americana back here with another video. Today we're going to be discussing Bitcoin, how things ended up shaking out at the weekly close this week, as well as what I'm looking for going into next week. So let's get into the video. Alright everybody, I guess we can go ahead and start out the weekly time frame. Pretty nasty close. Over the weekend we had some more tariff news, and then stock market futures opened up. Filming this on Sunday, so the actual stock market won't be open tomorrow. Probably going to be volatile into those moments all through Monday. Make sure this video is posted on Monday so you guys will be informed. It'll be posted Monday morning. Let's just go ahead and talk about the weekly close on Bitcoin. Looking at this red line we have up here, this was the area that I really wanted to see us close above. We can break down to the 1 hour here. You guys can see that. So yeah, everything was going perfectly fine. We were looking good, a little bit of pump into the close, and then stock market futures opened and we absolutely nuked. Let's see, Russell 2000 down 1%. I can just open this over here. Russell 2000 was down about 1%. NASDAQ down about 1%. S&P 0.9%. Dow 0.75. So everything just kind of giga nuked and kind of fucked up our weekly close. It is what it is. It has some implications for this week, so I guess we can go ahead and talk about that right now. First of all, let's look at weekly momentum. Things kind of slowing, but not increasing just yet. We kind of have this start of a slowing period. Good to see things not rapidly expanding down. Obviously, like this, or like this, or even like this. You know, you can kind of tell when things are sharp and then when things tend to slow down. So that is good. But like I said, that weekly close does have some strong implications. We'll go ahead and look at other time frames and see if we can see anything there. Yes, implications for this right here. This puts us, the reason I didn't want to close there was weekly swing model. So now the weekly swing model is live. What is it going to take for this to confirm? A variety of things can happen. We'll just use this candle as an example, but this can happen on any series of 3 candles. But we would need some sort of move up. Let me change this. What color do we want? I feel like green pops. Go ahead and use green. All right, so some sort of candle, some sort of swing up, okay, as well as another candle right here. And the big point is this wick, or this candle, needs to have a wick that takes out this high, and then that would be confirmed. I don't know if I did the best job of displaying that, but if you hop in the free Discord, I will make sure I update when this does happen. So nothing confirmed yet. If we do confirm this weekly to daily swing model, we would be targeting about $89,000. And then once we get there, we can kind of check in, see what momentum and different things are doing. Just at that time, do we get into this liquidity levels that we've been talking about? Those are still there. 84 is not really on the chart, but 86 to like 88 has a little bit. I think I have a different Bitcoin chart we can look at. So this is kind of what the current levels look like, or the main pocket of liquidity at 85 to 86. So we talked about this last week. Getting some sort of move down into here is totally possible. If we had closed the week above this area right here, I would pretty much negate that. I would say it's not really possible for us to get down there. But with how this weekly candle closed, and then the possibility of that weekly to daily swing model putting us at 82 or 89.2, getting down to 86, 85 could be possible in that sense. I don't think it is anything to super worry about when it comes to the macro time frame. I definitely think if you're not positioned, probably is a decent time to do so. But if we do get down there, we're kind of in this weird in between right now. So I can't really tell you long, not long. I think you guys care about altcoins. I know a lot of people are positioned in altcoins, and things like ETH/BTC and Bitcoin dominance has not changed. As long as those are sitting how they're sitting, I don't really have a reason to be bearish, I'll be honest. So that means that dips are for buying. 3-day close. Let's see, this did close like on the Sunday close. So you see down here, Monday open, which is this candle. So this means this close on a Sunday. So that coincided with our weekly candle, obviously meaning that we did nuke down below. But as you can see here, momentum still did increase. The next candle will close on, what is this, Wednesday. So about midweek, we will get another candle closure. Definitely want to see 3-day momentum continue to increase. If we look at past times that we got buy signals, I'm just trying to put this in this area so I don't lose it. If we look at past time that we've gotten these similar buy signals, right, momentum has been increasing. We obviously want to keep seeing that. The next candle close is going to be on Wednesday. We do have the FY25 yearly open right here. If we could get back above, I might change my tune, right? I might change my tune about the weekly swing model being valid, or I might change my tune about getting down to that $91,000 area. What did I say? Did I say that was 91? About $90,000 area. But if any of these things happen, if any of these things confirm, and we're not able to flip back above that FY25 open, it probably could get a little bearish in the sense of 89, maybe even grabbing that liquidity that I mentioned. Sorry, I have to keep switching charts, but this liquidity down here. Like I said, would be nice to see 3-day momentum close up still by Wednesday. If it does close down, it's not necessarily the worst thing. We've still been able to find bottoms in the past, even when things have kind of had some little nasty close down. But then we do need to really start monitoring price, make sure nothing gets too hairy in here. At that point in time, I kind of stop monitoring momentum and I just make sure that price can kind of hold in that area, because if it can't, obviously momentum is probably going to continue to roll over from there. But until that happens, until these things happen, there's no point in stressing out about it. All right, we kind of talked about the daily time frame a little bit. We can go ahead and continue to look in there. I was surprised to not see a swing model show up in here. I thought we might get a little daily swing model, and potentially that would point to like getting down in here. We're still kind of getting that price action playing out. It just didn't confirm, which is frustrating because that would have been a pretty easy short from like right here to, would have been like right there, about 6%. That would have been pretty easy, and it's kind of annoying that we did not get that to confirm, or I definitely would have taken that, especially with that bearish divergence on the daily. I can go ahead and remove that, but that bearish divergence on the daily. Okay, so far on the daily time frame, let me take this off so we can see a little bit better. We have lost this kind of bullish regime. Not the worst case. Sometimes while we're working out these bottoms, right, you do get things to kind of chop on and off, and it's never the worst thing. It's just something that we do obviously definitely need to monitor. And as soon as this can get back above the FY25 open, that is going to be nice. Whether we have to go take out this liquidity slash swing model first, or even down there, right? As soon as we can get back above this FY25 open, I think the picture looks a little bit cleaner, a little bit brighter. Daily time frame, go ahead and zoom in. That's really all I have to cover on there. Yeah, you just definitely want to get back above if and when you can. Price yesterday, so I'm gonna pull up this one, go to the daily time frame. Momentum yesterday, it was flat, so 1.92 and 1.9, sorry, 91, 91, 91. Okay, so actually a little bit of a downtick on momentum. Again, just something that we definitely need to watch out for. If you guys remember when I was doing my Bitcoin exit plan videos and stuff like that, we talked about it, right? There's a lot of things pointing to bullish. I'm positioned in the altcoin market because if we are able to get above this, if this is able to resolve, it's going to be a pretty fun times in the market. And if it doesn't, then we just accept it for what it is. But when I have signs and signals to be bullish overall on the market, I'm definitely going to take those. And then if something drastic happens, right, if we sweep this low, sweep this liquidity, reject right here or something, and end up flipping this down, there's definitely time to look for exits, look for exiting the market. because this would resemble something like FY22, same fractal we talked about, January fractal. I have a lot of discrepancies with that, but like I said, we respect price for what it is. If it is going to go lower, if the bears are, it takes one button to sell. Okay, that's kind of been the point. It's like, you don't have to be overly emotional about it. Okay, you just simply have to watch and see what's happening. All right, down to the 4-hour time frame. I'll go ahead and just remove this because it's already been confirmed. Again, that's the weekly to daily swing model. But we can go ahead and drop down to the 4-hour time frame. We do have a wick on this candle here, but no wick right here. If you guys don't know, typically when you get candles that just open and start moving super fast, we do revisit this level, or tend to revisit those levels. Now, how we revisit those levels can mean a few things. Okay, it can be bearish retest. Do we sweep this low right here, kind of bounce back, and then we get the rest of it? Maybe the weekly to daily swing model comes in up here. That is a possibility. But the other thing you can use it for is basically just knowing that you'll probably get a shot at revisiting that level. So we talked about this FY25 open. Let's say price moves down, doesn't hit this, we get a swing model, we take out 89, right? And we're somewhere in here and everybody's freaking out, blah, 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 blah. You know, I would be saying, hey, like, we haven't closed out this candle up here. So definitely look to a move up here. And then what happens if we reclaim FY25 open in that instance? Well, the picture would instantly look a lot better. So just kind of something to look out for, keep in mind. Let's see, this candle is 93.5, about somewhere in there. But definitely keep that in the back of your mind this week of like, are we going to hit 93? If we do, how does it happen? Is it just a retest and we continue lower? Do we reclaim it and continue higher because it is close to that FY25 open? So just something to keep in mind. And again, in these videos, we're strictly talking about, or I try to strictly talk about, Bitcoin's price action only. I have another one also about Ethereum. And then my other videos for the rest of the week tend to be more macro focused, where the market is, reasons to be bullish, bearish on certain things, whether that be altcoins, bearish on altcoins, whatever have you. So that is kind of what we are working on going into the week. This update is not going to be the best. Okay, last week's update, I would definitely check that out as well. Sometimes if things take a while to play out, it just kind of is what it is. So this is a little bit of a continuation of last week's update of like, hey, it's a possibility, like we have liquidity lower. This is a possibility, but watching momentum, we have this wickless candle. Just kind of updating you guys on where things are and what to look out for throughout the week. I can't really recommend taking position in here. It is kind of a no man's land. You can go, actually we'll just stay on the daily. It is kind of no man's land. Now, if we are able to sweep a little bit lower, it's more than welcome to move higher from here. But if we are able to sweep a little bit lower, that's an ideal position to kind of look for longs on Bitcoin. Or if we're able to maybe a little move lower and then reclaim that FY25 open, things would start to look a little bit better, especially if that happens around the 3-day close and that doesn't look too bad and things like that. So kind of a continuation. Make sure you go check out last week's Bitcoin update. Dumping on a weekend with stock market close tomorrow into the final seconds of the weekly close makes this update a little bit hard. So just go watch that other one, like I said, and then try to balance it out with what I'm saying in this video. But that is kind of it, and we will go ahead and wrap it up. Appreciate you guys as always. If you don't know, link to my free Discord is in my bio. Just click that. You can join. It's absolutely free. I dropped some updates. I think I dropped one this weekend. I was trying to pull it up in there, but basically pointing out like what the scenario was. We kind of talked about this dump into the FY25 open. We wanted to hold. We still can hold even on today's candle, being Monday's candle. But yeah, it's just a good place to make sure you get updates in there. If you have questions on anything that we talked about in this video, that's definitely a good place to do it. I also dropped some trades in there as well. Currently, the only thing running for me is a long from about 88,000, targeting the all-time high, stop below this low right here. So this thing is still running. Everything looks fine with this. I don't have any reason to come off of this, and probably won't until I get stopped out. But that is neither here nor there. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.